Welcome to Curbside Chat number 24. We're filming today from the grounds of Meadowbrook Hall in Rochester, Michigan, just outside Detroit. Meadowbrook stands as one of the great landmarks of Michigan's rich automotive history. In the early 1900s, John Dodge, one of Dodge Motor Company's pioneers, purchased a 120-acre farm on this site. Meadowbrook Hall, a 100-room mansion, was completed in 1929 at a cost of $4 million. It was the dream home of Mrs. Dodge, built in the style of estates found in England. The land holdings later grew to encompass a total of 1,500 acres. In 1957, Mrs. Dodge donated the entire estate to what is now Oakland University. Each year, more than 100,000 visitors tour Meadowbrook Hall to see its valuable paintings, elegant furnishings, and a big attraction this time of year, the Christmas Walk. We are inside Meadowbrook Theater on the set of Charles Dickens' Christmas Carol, perhaps the most popular tale of the season. As the holidays signal the end to another calendar year, I believe it's appropriate that we take a look back at the challenges we faced together as we entered 1990, the progress we made this year, and the opportunities available to us in 1991. At the beginning of 1990, the biggest obstacle we faced was concern over market conditions. Sales at the end of 1989 were not at a level any of us were happy with. Floor traffic was sluggish at best, and our incentives were not moving the needle. In addition, we faced the challenge of launching two new premium American motor cars, the Regal sedan and the Park Avenue. For the Regal, we had to launch this car in a way that resulted in plus business, not just switching customers from Century. With the Park Avenue, we needed to make sure that the most sophisticated and advanced six-passenger Buick ever offered lived up to the growing expectations in the marketplace. Well, let's take a look at how much we've accomplished together in the past year. While each and every one of these accomplishments is worth noting, we don't have enough time to cover all of the details. So I'm going to move fairly quickly and just touch upon the most significant achievements. Let's begin by looking at the first of our three primary areas of emphasis, selling cars. Several of our car lines enjoyed very encouraging gains in 1990. Skylark's model year sales were the highest in 4 years, exceeding the combined deliveries of both Skylark and Skyhawk a year ago. LeSabre sales were the highest in 5 years, making LeSabre the #1 retail car in the large segment. What that means is that you outsold the likes of Ford's Crown Victoria, Mercury's Grand Marquis, and even the Caprice. That's a great job. And our Riviera sales were the best in 4 years. By achieving our December forecast of 45,500 deliveries, Buick sales will actually show a slight year-to-year increase, while the industry will be down by an estimated 5%. We're now 2 months into the 91 model year, and our momentum is even more encouraging. Buick's model year-to-date sales increase of 25% is higher than any other domestic manufacturer and compares to a 3% increase for the industry in total. Now, the midsize segment of the market is expanding at a greater rate than any other, and you're getting more than your fair share of that growth. So far, for the 91 model year, Buick sales in the midsize segment are up by 33% versus only a 21% increase in the total segment. This translates to a 1-point increase in Buick's share of this increasingly important segment, and is the result of the growing success and acceptance of the Regal sedan, as well as consistent performance of our Century. Here are some highlights for the 91 model year so far. LeSabre, up 12%. Skylark, up 38%. Park Avenue and Ultra, up 54%. And Regal, up 115%. While these sales highlights are very encouraging, the true measure of our success is market share, and we have a great deal to be proud of there as well. Market share for the 1990 model year ended at 5.6%, even with last year. 1990 calendar year market share through November is currently at 5.8%, up 0.3 of a point versus a year ago. This is due in large part to the acceptance of the Regal sedan and the 1991 Park Avenue and Ultra. But here's the big news. After 2 months, our 91 model year market share stands at 6.3%, up a full 1.1 points versus a year ago. That's a greater market share increase than any other domestic manufacturer, and second only to Honda in the whole industry. Congratulations. This is proof positive that a shared team focus, combined with a clear market-driven vision, is what it takes to succeed in this increasingly competitive industry. The launches of the Regal sedan and the new Park Avenue and Ultra have been successful. In the Regal sedan, our challenge to launch this car in a way that resulted in plus business, not just stealing customers away from Century. As this chart shows, since the mid-May launch of the Regal sedan, Regal sales have doubled, while Century sales have remained consistent. This resulted in the increased mid-size segment sales and market share that we talked about a moment ago. With the Park Avenue, we needed to make sure that the most sophisticated and advanced six-passenger Buick ever offered lived up to the growing expectations in the marketplace. Based on sales for the first 2 months of the 91 model year, all indications are that we are achieving our goals. Model year sales are up by more than 50% and continue to exceed forecasts. And more encouraging, Park Avenue's share of the large luxury segment is up a full 3 points. The success of these launches was enhanced by our advertising strategy. Now, the purpose of advertising is to create awareness, to build a desire in the customer to seek more information about your product. And all indications are that the advertising did bring customers into your showroom. Also, Buick was one of the first manufacturers to respond to concern over the situation in the Mideast with hard-hitting fuel economy advertising via print and television. And this year, we launched the 1% Marketing Adjustment Program, which will go a long way in increasing the share of advertising voice for both Buick and Buick dealers. Already, advertising funds have increased by $8 million for 1990. This increase will grow even more in 1991 with a full year on the 1% program. Advertising does create awareness. In the competitive environment we're in, it takes a strong promotional portfolio to break through the clutter and drive people into your showroom. To maximize our success, we must have efficient and effective promotional activities on a consistent basis, nationally, regionally, and locally. This year, we've had a wide array of promotional activities. We've received many favorable reports from auto shows across the country that our products are being received very, very well. Our auto show displays are also being enhanced to incorporate our fuel economy and quality story, as well as the prospect generation and management process to fully capitalize on the opportunity for that exposure. Our prospect generation process and the 800 telemarketing program have moved Buick light years ahead in our ability to provide you with qualified leads who are interested in Buick. We recently surveyed prospects from this system, and here's what we found. 60% of those responding to the survey said that they visited one of your dealerships as a result of the information they received from Buick. And the rate of conquest sales through this process is 2 to 5 times higher than normal. Our focus on golf was expanded this year to include the Buick Classic and the Buick Southern Open. Buick is now, beyond any doubt, the #1 corporate sponsor associated with the PGA Tour, and it is paying off. More and more, when people think of golf, they think of Buick. One measure of this success is the number of sales generated by our golf direct mail piece. In 1988, our mail piece resulted in about 17,000 sales. In 1989, that number grew to 26,000. And the winning putt sweepstakes this summer generated some 34,000 sales and nearly 900,000 showroom visits. Next summer, our association with golf will be further enhanced with two of the PGA Tour's big names associated with Buick. In addition to Ben Crenshaw, Wayne Levy, the #2 money winner on the tour this year, has committed to a 5-year association with Buick. November 30th marked the conclusion of the Modern Maturity Coupon Promotion. This activity had been a regional program for the past 2 years in the eastern area of the country. And because of its success there, it was expanded this year to encompass the entire country. Final data is not available as yet, but we're estimating that nearly 21,000 retail sales in the months of October and November were to customers redeeming a coupon from Modern Maturity. By the time you receive this tape, the NFL Winning Drive promotion will also have concluded. We're estimating that approximately 7,000 coupons will be redeemed from this program. Now, this is a very good response when considering that the Sports Illustrated audience is only 25% of that of Modern Maturity. This calendar year has seen an increase in our leasing activity as well. Here's a look at the growth in the number of Buicks leased per month utilizing the GMAC Smart Lease program. As you can see, the volume really took off in July when the Smart Lease program was enhanced. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank those of you who participated in the recent Buick leasing survey. Your input's currently being utilized to help us develop a more comprehensive plan. You'll be hearing more about this in the coming months. Regional marketing activities have also grown stronger. This is largely due to the extensive amount of input you provided in the planning of those activities. A good example of the success of these programs is the Skylark promotion in the eastern area early spring this year. The result was a 30% increase in retail Skylark sales versus a year ago. Well, that's just a quick look at some of the progress this team has made this year in the area of sales. Now let's take a look at our second primary area of emphasis, satisfying customers. In the month of September, Buick and Buick dealers became the only nameplate to achieve a 12-month index score of 91 in all 3 major categories of customer satisfaction: overall dealership, overall customer, and overall product. That's a great accomplishment, and one that took both the team and the individual effort of each one of us. The NVID delivery process was relaunched this year with extensive training, including a new videotape. The result of this relaunch and your commitment to focusing on the customer is that our current NVID through October is up nearly 2 full points versus a year ago. Great job. And I'm confident that this effort will have a positive effect on customer satisfaction as we move on forward. The quality image of Buick products and the services provided by Buick dealers has been further enhanced once again this year by the J.D. Power survey results. Buick, along with Mercedes-Benz, were the only manufacturers in the world to have achieved a top 10 ranking in every major J.D. Power survey for the past 2 years in a row. Now, these successes don't come by chance. They are further indication that this entire team is focused on selling cars, satisfying customers, and being market-driven. And there's been progress in the area of being market-driven as well. We are striving more than ever to respond to the input that you're providing via the National Dealer Council, the Marketing and Business Advisory Boards, and your responses on the Curbside Chat cards. We appreciate all the input that you provided this year. Believe me, it's a large contributing factor to the momentum that we're building together. Here are some examples of where your input has resulted in positive change. To improve your cash flow, we've become better at paying incentive monies on a timely basis. Now, there's still room for improvement, but we think we've come a long way, and we're learning more every day. We've eliminated long delays in paying salesperson incentives and are now able to mail checks the day following your call to program headquarters. And the new DCS delivery reporting procedure now allows you to apply for incentive payments at the same time the delivery is reported. The new dealer sales and service contract demonstrates the importance of your input into our planning processes, as it clearly states our commitment to responding to your needs. The new sales and service agreement also established a new and innovative dispute resolution process, which allows us to resolve differences in a fair, speedy, and very efficient manner. The NADA has recognized both General Motors and specifically Buick sales and service agreements as the contracts that most closely match their ideal franchise agreement. Another indicator of a market-driven organization is the value of its franchise. A major contributor to the value of any franchise is the profitability of its dealers, and you have made progress in this area as well. For example, when looking at Buick dealers in total, return on investment is up by 49% compared to last year. The percent of profitable dealers has improved by 9%, and the average net profit before bonus and taxes has improved by 57%. Now that's a tribute to the job that you've done in managing your expenses, while at the same time increasing market share. This year has also been marked by a continuation in the quantity and positive tone of articles being written about Buick and Buick products. The Riata Convertible, Regal Sedan, Park Avenue and Ultra were all very well received by the automotive press. And the premium American motor car vision is receiving widespread understanding. More importantly, the press not only understands our vision, they believe that it is the right thing for us to do. This certainly has added to our confidence in the direction that we're heading. Well, we should all take a great deal of pride in the accomplishments of this great team in 1990. More than ever, we are seeing what working together and striving to be more focused than the competition is the key to the success of all of us. Now, we must all look at the challenges and the opportunities facing us in 1991 and make sure that our plans are firmly in place to move to the next level in selling cars, satisfying customers, and being market-driven. In the next 12 months, we must successfully launch 4 new premium American motor cars: the Roadmaster Wagon, the Roadmaster Sedan, the 1992 LeSabre, and the 1992 Skylarks. The success of these launches will be dependent on every one of us having plans firmly in place, both nationally and locally, and executing these plans with relentless focus. We simply must use these new products to increase our market share at the expense of our competition: Chrysler, Lincoln, Mercury, Acura, and so on, as well as keeping our strong, loyal Buick owner base. Another opportunity we face is to continue to expand our growth in the midsize segment. The 1991 Regal Sedan is off to a great start, and the Century is holding steady. But remember, in 1988, the Regal was the #1 selling coupe in the midsize segment. There continues to be a very strong market for that fine car, and in order to continue our growth in the segment, we must recommit ourselves to capturing the sales, market share, and profit opportunities that it represents. To break through the clutter of automotive advertising, we must maximize and leverage our share of voice in each and every market by firmly establishing continuity in all 3 levels of our advertising: national, dealer marketing groups, and your local advertising. The 1% Advertising Initiative is designed to help us do just that. I've heard some concern over the requirements for reimbursement of local advertising. The only reason for these requirements is it allows us to provide you with the bonus program, and that's a key competitive advantage, only available to Buick dealers. You're going to be receiving a videotape in the near future which will show you how simple it is to apply for these allowances. Use the advertising allowances that you've built up to assure that you're getting your share of voice in your local market. We also must ensure that we continue to focus on satisfying the customer in everything we do. This chart shows the trend of customer satisfaction this year. While we continue to receive index scores in the neighborhood of 91, you can see that the trend in the past few months has not been that favorable. A continued commitment to satisfying every single customer is a must. In the area of new car inventory, we've just adjusted our production levels in line with current market expectations. It is critical that each of you do an accurate job of forecasting and maintaining sufficient inventory levels. The dealers who say no to their weekly allocations will be short of product in the coming months. I also encourage you to take full advantage of the variety of promotional activities that are running nationally. In 1991, recommit yourself to do an even better job of promoting your dealership. Time and time again, the message is loud and clear. The dealerships who are aggressively promoting their stores are the ones who are winning. Now, you may not hit a home run with each individual promotion, but a consistent effort will greatly add to your individual success. I believe the bottom line in 1991 is that we cannot allow ourselves to become complacent. We must continue to improve our consistent execution of the basics that sell cars. Astute inventory ordering, astute inventory management, advertising, promotions, floor traffic control, and following up on every single lead. These are the opportunities we face, and we must all commit ourselves to aggressively attacking them with new focus in 1991. Well, we're here in Scrooge's office to answer some of your questions that you sent in this month. First, though, I'd like to read a letter that we received at the Curbside Chat office. This is from a customer of the Hughes Lytle Buick store in Gastonia, North Carolina. And she writes, on October 29th, I was involved in an auto accident on a major interstate highway in North Carolina. I was driving my 3-week-old 1990 Buick Riviera. For the past 15 years, I've driven nothing but General Motors cars. I've had foreign makes prior to that time. In an era where it seems to be the in thing to drive a non-American car, I wanted you to know that your product, in my eyes, has to be the best. During my accident, I was hit head-on by a tractor-trailer rig traveling 60 miles per hour. I was then thrown into a guardrail and skidded back across the interstate. When I came to a stop, the impact had left my car totally demolished. The front wheels were folded up under the car, and there were even solid metal parts under the hood which were totally broken off. The entire car was warped out of shape. Sounds like a typical head-on collision, doesn't it? Well, let me tell you how untypical the outcome was. During the impact, the seat belts and shoulder harness locked down like they were supposed to. The impact caused the headrest to shoot up in the highest position, and the airbag deployed like it was supposed to. I climbed out of the car on the passenger side with no injuries other than a slightly sprained ankle from catching it under the brake pedal. I've heard negative and positive comments on the airbag in cars, whether they're indeed necessary. I've heard comments on safety belts, but the most disgusting comments I hear are the ones that question the safety and quality of GM cars. I'm a living example of how safe they really are. I feel confident that Buick especially has taken all precautions to ensure the safety of their passengers as well as the functionality of their safety equipment. It definitely has been a valid argument for the individuals who've seen my wrecked car and me. I've now replaced my totaled car with a new 1991 Buick Park Avenue. I'm very pleased with the car, as I have been with all of my Buicks. Thank you for your hard work to ensure that your product is as safe and as dependable as possible. Well, we certainly appreciate that testimonial, and our engineers work very, very hard in making sure our cars are very, very safe. Next question is from John Johnson of Augusta, Georgia. He writes, why is the remote keyless entry not available on the LeSabre? Well, it will be. In 1992, it will be standard equipment on the limited model, and we're working to have that just as soon as possible, this option available on all of our cars. Next comes from J.M. Branker of Lincoln, Nebraska. He said, NVI should be increased to reflect new and higher fuel costs to the dealer in the fill-up program. Well, we review the cost of fuel about every quarter and determine where we are versus market rates. You have to realize, however, that for several months we've been paying you more than the pump cost had been. And now with the rise with the Mideast crisis, we perhaps were under, but the fuel costs are coming down again. But we are watching that very closely, and we won't be always exactly. Sometime we'll pay you a little more, sometime we'll pay you a little less, but hopefully you can still fill up those tanks for our customers and keep your customer satisfaction high. Next is from Gary Brackeen of Shawnee, Oklahoma. He said, Ed, Olds and Pontiac have a price advantage over Buick in the midsize A-Series when lightly equipped. Also, a loaded Century costs more than a loaded Grand Prix or Cutlass Supreme. The Century needs some help. Oh, bah humbug. Our top cars are definitely less costly and very competitive with all of the competition, and that's due to our tiered rebate structure. We put more of our incentive money on the top packages, which allow the customer to have more car per car, allows greater profitability for the dealership, and actually the customer satisfaction is higher because they get features that they wouldn't normally have. Likewise, our base cars sometimes are more expensive than our competition, as you'd expect them to be, because we are an upscale division. But we're very competitive on the high level. Next comes from Raymond Maligi of Saratoga Springs, New York. Saratoga Springs. Dear Mr. Mertz, why have you eliminated wire wheels in the Park Avenue Ultra as an option? Many customers, including myself, prefer the appearance of wire wheels. Well, of course, we still have wire wheels available in the Park Avenue. And we think they are very appropriate with that car, the trim, the bumper system, and other appearance features of the car. However, on the Ultra, it's equipped to appeal to a different target market. And black wall tires and the chrome or the aluminum wheels seem to fit that market much more closely. Next is from Bill McMurphy of Pensacola, Florida. He said, modern maturity coupon the best. Do it more. Don't forget salesman incentives. Well, the modern maturity coupon this year was a great success. We heard from all parts of the country, and we certainly will do that again in some future date. And we certainly don't forget the salesman incentives. It's very important as an overall part of our strategy of incentives and promotion. Last we have is from Armin Cagle of South Burlington, Vermont. He said, Dear Ed Mertz, I wish that Buick Motor Division never has to give a rebate on a 91 Park Avenue. By not giving rebate, just maybe, the trade-in on this luxury car 3 or 4 years down the road will be higher value. Thank you. Well, we agree with that, and that's why we have not and really do not intend to put direct rebates on the Park Avenue. It will keep the value high, and as you know, it's selling very, very well. We haven't had time to answer a lot of questions this time, but we really appreciate your input. We read them all, and many of them end up in our promotional activities, and your ideas end up in the products and so forth. So we appreciate it. Well, there you have it. The spirit of Christmas past. Those challenges we faced as we entered 1990. The spirit of Christmas present. All of the momentum that we together have built this year. And the spirit of Christmas future. The opportunities available to us in 1991. And much like Ebenezer Scrooge, we can determine which course our future will take. Our momentum is building. We're on a higher rung than we've been in some time. A year ago, we were concerned with what the market level would be in 1990, and by all indications, we will outsell last year's levels, despite a down market. More recently, sales this fall have been considerably better than they were a year ago. Sales for the 1991 model year are up a full 25% from last year's levels, and market share for the same period is up over a percentage point. This team is seeing the results of our close partnership. Let's work together next year, even closer, so the spirit of Christmas future brings great success to each and every one of us. God bless and happy holidays.